Yeah, it's like I had perfect attendance throughout high school. Never missed a single day. I never got sick. I still don't really ever get sick because I guess I've always washed my hands. You know, um, I wash my hands several times a day, especially if I'm out in public and if I'm going to go pee or if I'm going to go to a restaurant. And it's like you always have to have clean hands. It's important. And I don't know if that's I think that's one of the reasons I rarely got even colds. But I think the more important reason is because between the ages of, being born and about 10 years old, I had lived in like 10 different countries and traveled to like about another 6 or 7. And this is all over the world. Well, not all over the world, but this is mainly, again, Europe slash Middle East slash parts of Africa. So, just kind of the Mediterranean areas of the world, but um, you build up immunity as a kid. And I probably got sick as a kid. I'm sure, I got, you know, plenty of colds, when I was 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and my mom probably took care of me. And I remember always taking care of me anytime I needed anything. She was a good mom, one of the best. And I'm not just saying that. I truly believe that. And I think my cousins, Margaret, Patty, and Terry, will agree. Their mom, my aunt Jo, she passed a couple years after my mom passed. And I don't know, our family thinks that honestly it might have had something to do with the fact that they lived, they grew up near an Air Force base in Sacramento, California. And during my mom was born in 1935, and her sister was born several years later. I don't know the exact year, so I'm not even going to say a year, but let's just say somewhere around prior to 1940, but right before 1940. So by the time, they're, in junior high, I don't know. It's just that there was a lot of testing back in those days and I don't know if it was nuclear, I don't know what the military was doing, but I've heard a lot of talk of there's a lot of testing going on back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and it might have been the water was affected somehow, but somehow both my mom and her sister both ended up with serious cases of multiple sclerosis. So it might be genetic to a certain degree, but it might not. I don't know. I hope it's not. Because I hope I don't end up with MS. That's rough. I feel bad for anyone that's afflicted with any kind of serious medical issue. And now I'm afflicted with failing kidneys, 100% caused by the manufactured home park. Their mistreatment of me over the years has caused me so much physical pain that I was required, I reached the point where I was, in order to get even like 4 or 5 hours of sleep in the course of a single night, I would have to put like tons of pain relieving creams on my knee and on my shoulder. 2 areas that were impacted very badly when I tripped and fell on that rebar spike. And it's the problem grew worse and worse and worse because I should have gotten surgery when it first happened, or physical therapy, or both. But the company wouldn't even respond to my letters. I sent them 2 letters after my trip and fall. I told them about the rebar spike 5 times, 3 different managers, 5 different requests, all nice and professional and courteous. Especially the third, the third time, it's the same manager. I talked to this manager first time, second time, and the third time I came to him and said, hey, and I'll just say a first name only because it doesn't matter. I'm not saying the name of the park. I'm not saying a last name. I said, Jim, what's going on? It's like the rebar spike is still there. I just scraped my foot on it, like 2 days ago. Look at my foot. It's all swollen now. And he apologized big time. See, he apologized the first time for it being there. And he said he'd take care of it. And he never took care of it. And it's like, it's just time just kept moving on and moving on. He still didn't take care of it. So like eventually, like about a year later, it was still there. So I asked him again. And it's like, he apologized big time for not for not handling it the first time. And he definitely promised to take care of it. Well, guess what? He never ended up taking care of it. So then the third time I come to him, and it's like I ask him, please, and I don't know if I just skipped, but I did go to him 3 times, complaining the last 2 times especially, but nicely, kind of the way I'm talking now. I've never been a jerk. At least I hope most people don't think that I've ever been a jerk. I try to be level-headed. I try to be a level-headed penguin, like my friend Alex would say, baby. There's nothing wrong with singing a song about being a level-headed penguin, and you should check that out on YouTube. Look for a song called "Level-Headed Penguin," written by one of my good friends, Alex, and you can find versions of that on YouTube if you search. And as a matter of fact, there's a live Beat Villains do a version of it that's cool that you should check out, with a bunch of radio dudes from Sacramento, radio or radio related people that worked in radio, formed a little band. And as a matter of fact, I think Green Day's original drummer is playing on the version. His name is Jimmy Brazier, and he was Green Day's original drummer. He didn't end up staying with the band, unfortunately, because they ended up becoming super successful. And if he had stayed with them, the dude would be well off. And I don't know if he got kicked out, or if they just started having disputes, or if he just got frustrated and quit. I don't know the story why he didn't stay with the band. I'm sure my friend Alex would know, because Alex and Jimmy used to be really good friends back in the day, and that's why Jimmy was playing drums for the Beat Villains on Level-Headed Penguin. And you know what? I think I'm going to wrap this episode up right now and continue listening to more of the video I made yesterday morning, so I can take notes, so I can do the upload, so I can continue making more cannabis cool content for my channel known as Alive Again 420. I am Green Weaver. I'm a part-time stoner who has lived in San Diego since the year 1999. I lived in Sacramento from 1972 through 1997. I was not born in America, but I was born an American. It's just my parents were traveling when I was born, and they didn't happen to be in America when I finally popped out. So luckily, I still got to be born an American citizen with an American passport and all that good stuff. You know, not that that's worth much at the moment, but I hope that America and the entire world is able to recover from the nightmares of COVID-19. I haven't done a good job of it so far, at least as far as I can tell. I'm avoiding the TV, I'm avoiding the news as much as possible lately, because I am already super depressed and super devastated by what's occurred to me over the last decade especially. And I don't need more weight on my shoulders. You know, it's like, it's been hard, suicide has popped up into my mind several times over the last 7 years. A couple times a year, especially during the holiday times. And that's something that it never occurred to me. As a matter of fact, I used to think I was so happy and so clueless possibly, and I just couldn't understand how anyone could talk about suicide or even consider it or follow through with it. And I would always hear these stories about, luckily I didn't have any friends that were suicidal. You see, and that's another part of my story. It's just the people I used to hang out with, whether friends or family, they were all similar to me in so many different ways. Everyone was level-headed. Everybody was successful to a certain degree. I hung out with winners, and I'm not saying that if you're a loser if you're not a winner, because that's just a bunch of bullshit. We all do our best, and sometimes we get thrown off track, and sometimes we have trouble getting back up, and then we might become losers, and that's a sad situation and a really sad story. And that's almost kind of what's kind of been happening to me over the last decade. It's like I keep trying to climb out of the pool. I got thrown in some kind of, pool of toxic waste, and it's like really deep, and it's really hard to climb out of, especially because I'm injured because of the injuries that have occurred to me as a result of the way I've been treated over the years. And I could go on and on, but I'm trying to climb out, and they keep hitting my fingers, with like metal poles, metal, like pipes, like long 6-foot metal pipes that are like this thick, and they're just like there's like some big ogre just that keeps whacking at my fingers every time I'm almost about to climb out of this mess of my life. This company, literally, they do whatever they can to knock me back down into the pit, and they're not doing that on purpose. I'm not accusing them of that, What I am accusing them of is being completely inept and not understanding that they have legal obligations to operate and run their business properly. Their manufactured home park, there are laws, there are rules, there are regulations. They made me follow all of them, and I had no problem following all of them because they all make sense. Most laws, at least in California, most laws make sense, especially now that marijuana. Oh, look at that helicopter. Oh, I don't know if it's gone. I'm going to run to the window because that's cool. See if I can capture a little of it on video. Oh, it's going to be gone by the time I get there, though. Ow, it hurts to walk. It hurts to walk. It hurts to walk. It hurts to walk. It's going to be so gone because I'm so freaking slow. Oh yeah, it's way gone. I don't know if I got any of it on video, but that's okay because it's time for me to wrap this episode up anyway. Oh, my foot is killing me. It hurts to walk. It hurts like hell. Oh, goodness gracious. Look at this groovy Yamaha keyboard. A KX8. Nice. Oh. Well, as I head back to my room to finish my little story so I can upload it, I'm going to wrap it up by saying thank you for hanging out with me on the Alive Again the 420, babies. It is the Alives Again 420s. Alives Again 420s. Alives Again 420s. Yes. Alives Again 420s. Alives Again 420s. Alive Again 420. Alive Again 420. Alive Again 420. I'm stuck in a loop. Help me escape. I'm stuck in a loop. I think the only way I can actually escape from this wicked loop I'm stuck in hang on a second. I'm doing something over here that's not important, but I'm doing it regardless. And I'm not going to stop doing it till I'm done doing it. And I'm almost done doing it, so I'm done doing it. And now I can say bye-bye. I said bye-bye, baby. I'll see you next time. A thumbs up or a like is always appreciated. And a comment's even better, especially if you check out my story, my true story, known as Decade of Destruction, available on AliveAgain420.com. AliveAgain420.com, when you get to my homepage, click on the pot cave. The pot cave will take you to a couple doorways. I want you to enter the doorway to the ugly dimension, and that's where you'll find my story, entitled Decade of Destruction. A dozen years of demise, 15 years of misery. That's the full title. And it's a true story, a true recounting of what's occurred to me as a member of a certain manufactured home park community where I purchased the home with my brother about 15 years ago, and everything that's been done to my family since we've lived there has been bad, and rarely anything good ever done. And that's the God honest truth. As a matter of fact, the more I think about it, the more I realize they didn't really do anything good. All they did was bad shit to me and my family. And I'll say it over and over. I think that's not out of evilness as much as out of just pure ineptness, the pure inability to do their job properly and to manage or operate a manufactured home park in the proper manner in the first place. All right, that's it, babies.